All right, so I'm back way earlier. I thought it was going to be a half an hour break, but what happened was I had people leave my business, and I couldn't be doing this at that same time. But I realized that I only had a couple questions left on here. Could have got them done. But anyway, we're back. And if anyone wants to jump in, so on this one, I'm actually going to ask some I'm going to respond to some questions as well that you write on here. And let's see what else we got. So there's a all chat. All chat. All right. So I turned on all chat on here. As soon as I got two more questions from the Reddit Ask Me Anything. And Reddit's a weird place where you have, in my mind, you have people that are just posting stuff, and it's a lot of it's beginners asking for help. So, but they don't want anybody to post content. So I've been banned on Reddit before I knew all this, years and years ago. Shadow banned. Had no idea because I don't spend a lot of time there. Because I'm creating things to genuinely help people. So when I found that out, I was like, what the heck? So anyway, you go on there, and it's kind of overwhelming because you see, especially some of these groups, you have thousands and thousands of people, a lot of beginners going on there and asking form checks and stuff, but they're getting 75 to 200 responses from people that really might not have that much experience, and how do you even know? So anyway, it gets a little frustrating. So found a couple groups that I'll stay in, and if people tag me and stuff, I might answer. So anyway, I'm sorry it didn't take 30 minutes. Actually, that's better. But I'm back, part 2 of the AMA from, now it's Kettleballs on Reddit is what I'm doing this one for. But anyway, obviously that's not how you spell kettlebells. So anyway, let me get back into these couple questions that I had to cut off before the last one. Hello, everybody. First off, a 30-minute does. Yeah. I gave you like this is an EMOM of questions. So, ooh, that's a good idea. Maybe that'll be next videos. All right, cool. So I think it would be cool to hear swing this kettlebell. By the way, on Reddit, my name is Swing This KB Online. If you want to go there and follow, whatever. Instagram, I am Swing This Kettlebell. Hello. So yeah, if you don't mind following, hanging out, whatever, asking questions, I love it because I can make videos on it and helps people all around the world. If you want to buy some of my programs, thank you. kbmuscle.com. thekettlebelllocker.com. All right, on to the question. So they want to hear me give a rundown of my training history and my desire to start using kettlebells. I think it would be stupidly enlightening to hear someone of his caliber wanting to use bells. Okay, so I am a bigger person. I'll have to get to that in just a second. The questions on here, I got a couple more on here. I am a bigger person, especially a bigger kettlebell sport athlete. And I train kettlebell sport vastly different than everybody else that does kettlebell sport, okay? I don't get under there and do 10-minute sets all the time. Frankly, I've only done probably less than 20 10-minute sets in my whole 10 years of training, okay, for sport. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't train to gain for sport. I just train differently. I do like the EMOMs, the different timing sequences that I do, the different ladders that I do. I don't like just standing there in that spot doing the same thing, okay? So I challenge myself a little differently. Anyway, I'm bigger. I like to use kettlebells to build muscle. I think it's enjoyable to me. It's freaking hard. Barbell is so much easier to do. It really is. You're taking a barbell. All right, cool. and I'm pressing it here. It's connected from here to here and I'm out here. I'm pressing up. All right, now that bar is not moving. Now with kettlebells, I have to maintain mobility to get one up. I have to get the other. So both at the same time. And then they want to go, they are independent of each other. So it's very different. Take somebody that's doing 225 shoulder press for reps, okay, and give them 2 106-pound kettlebells and see how many times they can press that. I'm just saying. So there's a lot of different things you're getting. You're getting more balancing. I mean, there's a reason people like dumbbells, but dumbbells also limit your range of motion on a lot of things, especially explosive and sports-based type things, okay? Dumbbell snatches, repetitive dumbbell snatches, kettlebell, awesome. So much, it just fits better, okay? It literally fits better. But the thing about kettlebells is, and why it's so hard for people to get into doing kettlebells, is the weight isn't always in your hand, okay? The weight is away from your hand on the handle, and it rotates onto your arm. See, if I did this right now, I would have destroyed my wrist. But that's the thing. There's a lot more coaching when it comes to beginners with using kettlebells for form that a lot of people are gonna kind of put off by that. Maybe not the beginners, but the coach too, okay? Now, if you're a person like me and you absolutely love it, I love teaching beginners how to do stuff. I don't get frustrated because I remember how I was. I think a lot of people lose that. So anyway, I started doing kettlebells, and it was, I watched a couple Steve Cotter and Mike Mahler DVDs back in 2008 or 9. I'm like, okay, I'm looking into these things. Sorry. I'm looking into these things, and I got a couple. I got 2 12-kilogram kettlebells, 2 16-kilogram kettlebells, and a 24. Dude, I could barely do, and I'm a mountain biker. I love mountain biking. I feel like I'm pretty athletic when it comes to stuff like that. Doing Turkish get-ups and some of the stuff that I saw Steve Cotter doing, Mike Mahler with these double bells, it just blew me away. And I was like, this is a whole new world of training when I've done all this other stuff. I'm looking out across this gym, beautiful gym that I was at, and I'm like, battle ropes, John Brookfield, Mike Mahler DVD, all these things were together. I'm like, I'm going to get that. I'm going to try that. That looks like it'll work more for my clients that I'm training for a healthy lifestyle than just me. So we all kind of just jumped into it. I had people, so I was at the national level in bodybuilding, and I had clients that were business consultants. They're like, you're fucking stupid to do something why not stick with what you're good at? And I said, because that's what, in my mind, I knew it was going to help other people more. I'm not going to train a bunch of 40 to 50-year-old undeconditioned people in bodybuilding. Why? They weren't going to compete or anything. So what I started doing was like, okay, these are more functional, whatever, a buzzword, more functional training style. And then I put my spin on it, and now we're here. So when people, it's funny, there's clients that were like, I can't believe you stuck with that idea and you pushed it to where you're at now. But that's the thing. You can find something that challenges you. That's why your brain, when you try new things, your brain gives you so much back. It might be frustrating and tough, but you gain so much out of it from trying new things. I wouldn't be anywhere near. If in bodybuilding and stuff like that, because I wasn't going to take drugs to get bigger. I'd maxed out to me where I wanted to be at a low middle weight, okay? So low, 170 pounds. I didn't want to take steroid. I didn't want to take performance-enhancing drugs just to look a certain way with bigger muscle, okay? Because I liked mountain biking too much. So kettlebell started doing this stuff to me mentally that made me just feel great, better than I had when I was doing bodybuilding. Because the whole thing about bodybuilding and stuff is the end result is you're judged on what you look like through stress and all sorts of stuff, not through what you can do on stage. Because there's people that look great and all of a sudden some just messed up and they didn't look good. and they didn't, get what they wanted. And that wasn't fun for me. It wasn't mentally rewarding for me. So kettlebells, I was directly in control with all this stuff. And then I found kettlebell sport, and I started with strong sport. If anybody's heard of strong sport, I absolutely loved it. I was one of the only people in the country really pushing it. Mike Salazar from Chicago, up in Chicago, was getting into it. We both came from a bodybuilding background. Strong sport was made by Valery Fedorenko. It was a single jerk biathlon. I don't know. They didn't even have snatches. I think it was just cleans, heavy cleans, and heavy jerks. Well, I did long cycle. So you had 4 minutes to do what you could with a heavier weight than they were using in traditional kettlebell sport. And I fucking loved it. So I worked myself up in the next couple years. I'd say 2013, I went to the Worlds in Chicago, and I believe I used a 40 kilogram bell, single arm clean and jerk, and I was getting like 20, 21 reps, so that's what I liked. And then it just kind of, as with a lot of kettlebell sport stuff, it's kind of just died down back then. And then there's a resurgence, and now kettlebells are popular because with a pandemic, quarantine, people could train in small spots or whatever, you're here, you got kettlebells. But now all this other stuff. We have bolt, we have marathon, we have other things in kettlebell. I would like to start some relay type stuff again. But strong sports seem to phase out, and I have a lot of videos on that. I want to get it back. Because not everybody, myself included, is built to have double rack position, okay? Because my hips are down here. So I can only get one down there. I can't get the other. Anyway, so with one heavy bell, I could clean, jerk, and it was awesome. Anyway, and I can lift heavy, stuff that I like to do. So anyway, that's strong sport. That's kind of how I got into it. Then I started, that phased out, and I did a couple, let's see, I was more into long cycle than just jerk. It doesn't feel great for me just to do jerk. My hands kind of go numb a little bit, and if I'm getting to the point of that, no, I'm done. So long cycle allows me to reset and go again. I like it. I've done snatch. Snatch is great. A lot of times worked a CMS and some of that stuff in kettlebell sport. Triathlon's cool. I dig that because it's shorter. It's 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and 5 minutes. Anyway, that's something for beginners to try if they want to get into kettlebell sport. So yeah, I went from bodybuilding because there was just a flood. There are so many, and everyone's got a gym everywhere. It's the same as CrossFit. I mean, it's everywhere. Kettlebell sport, it's just different. I like doing different things and trying different things, and then all of a sudden, I absolutely enjoyed it. So let me get back on here. Let's see. Next question. I know you mountain bike in addition to kettlebell training. I love it. I don't get the chance to do it as much as I can. Do you have a preference to which one you train first if they program on the same day? I've run into hard days in a row running kettlebell and muscle gain simultaneously with my triathlon training. Probably stubborn, but I'm not willing to give up either one right now. How would you approach adding pure endurance work to a program like kettlebell muscle gainer 1 or 2, since they definitely do some conditioning work as well as build muscle? You could do the strong. See, I try to make these parts fun. Like in kettlebell and Kbomg versions, I wanted the strength stuff to be fun and not monotonous. I wanted the conditioning to be different and not just repetitive. Okay? So there's all these different things in there, and it's kind of hard. You're going to get strength-based EMOMs. You're going to get conditioning-based EMOMs. So what you could do is you could look over the plan if you're mountain biking. If you're going to go light mountain biking and maybe more flat, just trail stuff, or swimming or running, just remember you're going to have so much calories for something like this. I would probably do the mountain biking secondary if you could, and make sure you're recuperated, maybe cut down kettlebell and muscle gain a little bit. You can take off some of the conditioning. If it says 20 to 30 minute EMOM sets, maybe do 10. You just cut down a little bit because you're still going to get that stuff outside. And I love this. It's a program that can go back and forth because it's going to give you not just pure strength or endurance, a little bit of both to allow you to do that, like hiking and mountain biking stuff. It's great. Let's see. And then here's some other ones. If you only had 2 24-kilogram kettlebells for the next 2 years, what would you aim to achieve with them? Well, I guess I would focus on long cycle, which is clean and jerk, and trying to get more reps. Maybe you get over 100 reps. 100 reps in 10 minutes, clean and jerk, without putting them down. Now, I know a lot of people do that, but I'm not a professional kettlebell sport athlete. But if that's all I had, that's what I'd like to do. Maybe, I mean, if I had 2, that's 53 pounds each. Just picture 53-pound dumbbells. There is so much stuff that you could do to build size with 2 53-pound weights. In kettlebell sport or kettlebells, you can still, what people don't realize is there's so many different ways to build muscle. And people are finding new research all the time because what works for some person might not work for the other. Different fiber types dispersed between, in the body, fast twitch, slow twitch, all the different twitches. So if people are only doing kettlebells in a fast speed and, they're jerking overhead and they're dropping right down, well, you could do slower stuff. You can do more time under tension. You could push more rest pause sets where it's more fatigue, where the last reps are literally going to failure and stuff like that. A lot of people don't use kettlebells like that. That's the thing. You got to open your mind and you got to test out new stuff. And then you're going to hear, well, I'm not going to do that. There's no evidence-based workout with that. Fine. If it works for you, it works for you. That's the thing. Science-based stuff, science is based on testing things. So if a person isn't testing, fine, let me test shit. I'll test more stuff. And then I'll put out what I found, basically in these programs, what I found that works, and it's going to work for a lot of people, but not everybody, okay? So like I said, I'm not going to give this program to straight up beginners. I've had people email me and say, hey, this was really it was too much. And I said, that's cool. And I traded them. Instead of just saying, all right, see ya, fine, you bought a program, what I did was ask them about their goals and where they're at. And then I gave them a couple different programs instead. We switched it out. So I switched out access to, I gave them my fundamentals program, and I gave them a more intermediate thing. And they were very, very appreciative and very happy about that. I'm like, awesome. I'm so happy because then they're going to go on and get into kettlebell only muscle gain or strength gain, whatever. So anyway, let's see. Let me get back down here. There's more questions. What kettlebell approach is better for maintaining healthy joints and long-term kettlebell use? Kettlebell sport, strength training, or hypertrophy? Well, I think a program should have a little bit of all of that. I mean, even some of the best sport lifters in the world are still, Dennis Vasiliev still does strength training. He still is doing, I've seen bench press stuff that he does. I've seen squat stuff. I mean, all sorts of stuff. The best thing for maintaining healthy joints and long-term kettlebell use to me is going at a slower pace, and don't rush things where if you experiencing tendonitis or grip issues or anything or stuff like that, you're going to have to back off right away. Stuff's inflamed, okay? You can get somebody to work on it. You can work on it yourself with different tools and things like that, but just back off a little bit. I had a mountain bike crash one time. My arm ended up over my head, and I landed in a half Superman position. Tore stuff, and there's bruising all the way down, all the way into my pec, and I thought I was done. I went back down, to 12 kilograms. And I went through the motions, and I did stuff, and I took my time. Do you know I ended up building up within 2.5 months of talking at the Chicago Kettlebell Summit and competing in triathlon, which was jerk, and then later was snatch, and then later was long cycle. 5 minutes of each with 32s, and got my absolute best reps in that 2.5 months after it could have been a major injury, where I couldn't even lift a 35-pound bell with my right hand. But I went back and slowly increased. I also didn't just stop. So I had people work on me, different things, but came back. So I would, for maintaining healthy joints, I mean, nutrition, anti-inflammatory stuff, good foods is going to be helpful. Not form is definitely going to be helpful. Not fighting through things that are trying to destroy you. Let's see. I mean, the great thing about kettlebell sport, long-term kettlebell use, is kettlebells are meant for higher repetitions. So overall, they're not a maximal weight. Yes, they can pull if you're not in the right spot. So, once again, starting slowly and increasing your form and working with someone that knows what they're doing. Coaching, getting a good coach, possibly. Filming yourself and seeing from all different angles. Like I said, in my kettlebell only muscle gain, could I have made it a different name? Absolutely. It should be strength gain or whatever, but whatever. It is what it is. But I put hypertrophy in there. I put some different just strength training, because hypertrophy is great too. If you're going to have a shoulder, it can be strong, but also it just needs the structure. If you're doing a lot of different things, that's why I think my shoulder survived that mountain bike crash, was because it's pretty dense, but it's still mobile. Okay, that's the thing. The strength was there, the structural integrity was there. I call hypertrophy. So basically, muscle structural integrity was there to allow me to absorb things. And then kettlebell sport, for endurance and mindfulness and all that stuff. So I think a little bit of all of it for healthy joints and long term. Kettlebell's meant for long term. That's why you see Jerry Gray. He's snatching in competitions. He's in his mid 70s more. I'm pretty sure. It's smooth. It's a smoother thing. Now here's the thing: when you get people that are doing a lot of hard style, you don't tend to see so many people. Okay, there's a lot of people I knew that were hard style when I very first started, and I don't even see them anymore. I don't see much of them anymore, because they're focused on constant tension, as maximal tension for everything. So that's one of the reasons why I personally don't do that, because I like to do a little bit of everything, okay? Not just tense the whole time. Nothing is wrong with that. That's what you liked, and fine. But I just don't see so many people that start training and still stay max hard style over the last decade. I just don't. So who knows? I don't know. I don't know if they're coaches, or if they just got bored or moved on, or just couldn't keep up with that intensity. So I do some stuff that allows me to be a little bit more fluid and go in and out of, having lifestyle. I'm a coach. I train people. I teach people how to lift and how to go through their life and feel better movement-wise. And that's what I've done since 2004. And I just don't think a constant tension is good for most people. All right, so moving on. I think this is the last question here before I get to questions here. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I appreciate it. Part 2 of the Q&A. What is my version of Simple and Sinister? Simple and Sinister is a minimalist, if you don't know, minimalist program from Pavel, and probably when he was at FSFG, Strong First. It is a minimal program based on one-arm swings and Turkish get-ups. I'm not going to give you the whole thing, but it's swings and then Turkish get-ups, okay? And I think it's like almost up to 6 days a week. Let's see. What is my version of that? Okay, well, it's way more than that. I like doing basically what I call Kentucky burpees, but Kentucky burpee is a push-up into double clean and jerk or push press, okay? So that's one of them. And then I really, really do like doing snatches and Turkish get-ups. So I have a program that's a short, around 30-minute program that I just really haven't put out. But it's for people that are asking if they want to do simple sensor. My version of what that would be is alternating between push-up on bells to double clean and jerk, and then on the other day is snatch to Turkish get-up. Now, you'll probably notice that you'll see some of that in Kbomg programs. That's why. But now for people that are only doing it, those are my two exercises I'm picking. They're good, but you notice I didn't put swing in there because I already have double cleans and also have single snatch. I just think there's so much more you can do instead of just swings, just hip extension, and repetitive, that to get stuff balanced overhead or to your shoulders is highly important for life. Carrying things, if I'm going to carry heavy stuff, that stuff ends up being over my head because I can lock out and walk. It's hard to carry stuff out here and walk. Or I get it to my shoulders somehow. And there you go. So there's your cleans and there's your snatches. And if I could only do 2 exercises, and those 2 exercises, what would they be and why? And no complexes. Damn you. That would be it. Push up, clean and jerk. Or just clean and jerk, whatever. Clean and push press. All right. Does my answer change if GS versus hard style? No. My GS form looks more hard style because of my body shape and type for some people. I can't get down into that rack position where I'm resting the weight on my hips. So I have to stay a little bit more tense. Maybe that's why I have a little bit more muscle. Thanks to all you give for the kettlebell communities. You've been a valuable source for a lot of people. Thanks for saying that. I really appreciate it. Thank you for thanking. I love talking about things that I like to do. And when people get into that too, and I can help them maybe not make the mistakes that I did at the beginning because it was such a new thing over here. There weren't many people doing kettlebells at all. Let's see. All right, so now, yeah, when I started, there wasn't too many. Okay, going up here. All right, hello. Hey, Joe. How would you deal with what seems like tendonitis in thumbs? Hurts when extending, not when gripping. Pushing, racking is increasingly uncomfortable these days. Maintenance. Okay, well, first off, we're going to find some person to massage. Okay, you have to find a therapist to work on that thumb extension. You're probably getting some issues. Now, also, there's something, I'm not a doctor, but I've also had clients that have de Quervain's syndrome. It's a very painful in the thumb joint and stuff, so you can look into that. It also could, there's a lot of muscles that move your thumb because that's what makes us opposable thumbs. You also might be trying to do, like I said, the bell might be landing. You can see where, if I move my thumb, you see where all those tendons go, follow the muscle. You might have to have somebody work on that, okay? Let's see. Hi, Joe. 2 or 1 kettlebell workout, which is better in general? Totally different. Start with 1 so you can balance, get your form great, okay? Yes, it's awesome. A lot of people shy away if they're just jumping into double kettlebells and they have a floppy, non-dominant arm, coordinated arm, non-dominant arm. Their cleans are going to look terrible. Their snatches, everything's going to look terrible. So focus on doing singles. It allows you left and right brain, left and right hemisphere. It allows a lot of connection. it makes you better, gets you coordinated. It works on rotational. There's more rotation stuff, and that's where sports are played. Sports are played, even pool, all sorts of stuff. So do single bell stuff first for a while. Okay, I think that's a great idea. Then moving your doubles, you'll get doubles are more power. There's more strength involved because there's usually more weight. Okay. Do you think body recomposition is worthwhile? Do you think a cut phase to lose fat and then a bulk phase to build more muscle? I think just I don't like to get a lot of weight on because then you have to lose a lot of that fat, and then half the time people are cutting down calories so far. You're not feeding your muscle. Slow and steady is always going to be better. So when my program's here, recomposition happens. I see people either gaining a little bit of weight or losing a couple pounds. When they lose some pounds, their fat seems to be going away. They're measuring smaller, but their weight's still the same. So they're building a little bit of muscle, but also carbohydrate storage in the muscle, glycogen storage, and things like that. But I think overall, I think it's just more healthy just to do it slow and steady and not this drastic calorie drop or increase for people. 250 to 500, maybe 700 up, increasing each day. I would always start with 250, and then see how that happens. See how it affects your performance. See how it affects your fat storage, body composition, things like that. And the same thing on dropping down. If you want to maintain muscle mass, you're still going to have to lift. You have to give the stimulus to the muscle to stay there. Otherwise, your body's like, hey, we don't need this. We're not using it. We're just outside running. So your weight, if you're losing based on just weight on a scale, you could possibly be losing a lot of that muscle that you tried really, really hard to build. So yeah, that's why I don't like doing a giant bulk phase and then a cut. Now, a smaller, shorter, maybe a week or two, that could be cool, but I still like slow and steady, Okay, my question is, how do you know it's time for change kettlebell? For example, 12 to 16, 24, 20. It depends on what you're doing. It sounds like a kettlebell sport type thing, or if you have a 12, remember there's bells in between as well. You can also have 14. A lot of people don't talk about this. If someone says an average of, for a guy, is 16 and 24, but maybe to start with kettlebells, but maybe you're not as strong as an average person, drop down and get a 10 and a 14. I'm sorry, get a 14 and a 22. Or the opposite is maybe you're stronger than most people around you and the ego isn't there, but instead of a 16 and 24, maybe you should get an 18 and a 26 or 28. Okay, so hopefully that helps a little bit. I'm all done on those. Let's see. All right. Are 100 kettlebell swings with 50-pound bell 5 times a week enough to satisfy the national requirements, at least 2 full body resistance sessions a week? I don't think so. I would do something different. I would add cleans and presses, rows and pulls, things like that. Kettlebells are great, but that's 100 swings is literally going to take you less than 2 minutes. 2 minutes. So I would do some other things. I'm working on a program to do a couple short workout sessions through the day for people that don't have 30 minutes or so or 40 minutes to train. And hopefully that'll be out there. But I would definitely do more than just 100 kettlebell swings. I want you to do some routines that include a bit of snatching, a lot of snatching. What is the best tip for a beginner to perfect snatch? Don't like banging the back of my wrist, and neither do I. I don't like you banging the back of your wrist. You have to perfect your clean before moving on to a snatch. A snatch is nearly identical. To a clean, where in hand insertion in a shorter lever, in a shorter place. So until you can get your clean great and not bashing your wrist here, definitely don't do it over here. Okay? That's my tip for everyone on snatch beginners. Hello. All right. How do you correctly plant? Let's see. How do I put on a lot of muscle with just kettlebells? Keep using them progressively. I mean, the last 2 years, people have said, "Hey, I look bigger." I've used only kettlebells for the last couple years. Literally, last 2 years now. I started training for the Arnold Sports Festival. I was going to beat my kettlebell sports snatch record. I did in practice by 30 plus reps, and I was getting ready to go. And then all of a sudden, a pandemic happened, and I didn't go. So for nearly 6 months before the Arnold, which was in March, I started touching only kettlebells. Pandemic happened, and then I was like at home. I wasn't going to go to my gym and use equipment that everybody else couldn't use, so I did the same stuff as my clients that I asked them to do in their house. They had kettlebells, they had mace. We use a couple maces, but that's not barbell, and maces are even less weight than kettlebells. So anyway, 2 years of me building muscle. I think I still have most of what I did before, if not more. I don't know. I gained a little bit of body fat, and that's fine. I mean, it was an insanely stressful time. But now, bringing it off. All right. Hello from India. Hello. I'm glad you love the programs. All right. For a person who's interested in a realistic combination of strength, hypertrophy, and muscular endurance, and one who just cannot get the dynamics of the snatch, do you think it's doing clean and presses are good enough? Oh, yeah, definitely. You can do clean and presses instead of snatches. That's totally fine. You'll actually be able to do a little heavier weight than you can with a snatch, usually for people on cleans. I sort of think a clean and press should be good, but would love my thoughts. Absolutely. Cleans are totally very similar motion, very similar. Just doesn't have as much stability overhead, but that's fine. That's fine. Do you do the body recomposition coaching for people who purchase Kbomg 1 and 2? So I was a precision nutrition coach. I don't do dieting help really anymore. There's too much stuff that goes wrong. I don't know. I just don't do much. I can help ask if a person has a question. I'm like, yeah, I think that's a better option for you than that one. Whatever. But I just don't like planning out diet things for people. What about not smashing your shoulder chest while cleaning? Yeah, don't do that. Think about it's not the bell isn't coming back to you, the bell is coming upwards, your hand is inserting. Okay, so that's the thing. It's not a clean and a snatch. Clean snatch and not the same as a swing. It's not just hip extension. All right. So yeah, that's basically it. So you have to know that the kettlebell is making an upward flight with a clean because it's going to your shoulder instead of away from you. Okay, so the shorter lever with your arm needs to stay. So as I come up, boom, right there. All right. Hello. What do you think about doing long cycles? Okay, remember, long cycle just means clean and jerk, not long, not time. It's not based on time. Okay, but anyway, sorry. Thanks so much for answering questions. Do you feel that the clean and press do much for building muscle for biceps? My arms get so much work when I'm doing kettlebell cleans. Yes, it's just different. It's the tension. You're not doing just bicep flexion, but they are helping. They're helping your hips. Everything's working together in different timing, okay? All right. Where is it? All right. What do you think about doing kettlebell long cycle with cast iron bells? Competition kettlebells are kind of expensive right now. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's fine. Just do it. But you're just not going to be able to compete. That's the thing. So cast iron bells sit in different spots. There's less dissipation of the weight. It's different on your grip. But if that's what you have, that's what you have. You can progress with whatever you have. Okay? So yeah, it might be a little harder but big deal. You're getting challenged. So that's what matters. You're going to gain a lot from it. Every now and then I'll do cast bells to do a lot of different exercises. Most people see me as using a little kettlebell. Maybe that's why my form is much better, is because I've always used kettlebell sport competition bells. They don't change in size as the weight increases. That's one reason why my form has been drilled. I can do it blindfolded. All right. There are a few kettlebell coaches who are against rotational kettlebell motion, like rotational cleans. Okay. I don't know. Some of the stuff is silly out there, and I think there's better exercises, but I think it's kind of fun. I mean, rotational things like there. I love rotational stuff. Give me a sports, an athlete. Give me anyone, a baseball player. What do we think that is? Golfing, rotation. Well, I mean, literally, if you're running, there's rotation involved. I'm against anti-rotation for everything. Anti-rotation is if you only want to do powerlifting. Look at strongmen. Look at strongmen competitions. Walking a wheel around. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. So I'm not a person that's against rotation whatsoever. Even in my kettlebell snatch, I'm not going straight up. I rotate. That's me. Rotation plus. 2 thumbs up. They all said Turkish get up is good enough rotation, actual strength. Okay. I'm again, absolutely not. You're not rotating with a Turkish get up. You are literally moving the ball and socket joints. That's it, of your hip. You're literally maintaining stability in the torso. Your hip and your shoulder, which are the 2 ball and socket joints, those are the only thing that's getting moved. Okay. I don't know how other people are doing it, but I'm not getting rotational stuff. I'm getting lateral things, but I'm not getting any rotational work. You know, watch a diver, watch a gymnast and stuff. Look at all the rotational stuff. That's where power is made. Sprinting. Watch a sprinter. They literally don't like this. There's so much rotation. So anyway, yeah. Whoever doesn't believe in rotation, that's fine. That's why I don't work on them. Rotations are great. Turkish get up. I love Bulgarian bags. Had a Bulgarian bag since 2011. And they're wonderful. Wrestling, MMA. Look at all this stuff that relies on rotation. Anyway. Sorry, I started ranting there. The thing when there's people that say, like some of the stuff that I definitely see on Instagram type videos that are people showing you 60 seconds of these workouts, like here, full workout, and they don't explain anything at all. They literally just show themselves doing the work. How many other people are like that in the world? None, just them. So that's why it can work really great for them. And then all of a sudden people try to do it and emulate it for themselves, and it doesn't go the way that they saw online. It's because it's that person. Now, if you try to coach somebody, I try to show my stuff and why and how I think it can benefit you. Then you can take that, and you're not going to look exactly like me. I'm not going to look exactly like people that are better than me. But it's okay. We learn from it. We don't just try to do the exact same thing. That's why I don't do challenges. That should be a question. Hey, Joe, why don't you do challenges for kettlebell sport so you can get shown in front of every viral, whatever? Because I don't care. I like longevity-based things that get people to focus on now and being better, not just how many things they can do in a short period of time. Anyway, I'm going to get off this and download this. So I hope it helped you. Like I said, our programs are at kbmuscle.com. You're on YouTube. You're seeing this on YouTube. Go to our Instagram and swing this kettlebell. There's other stuff I got. Kettlebell Muscle Gain is a program, is a page I have on there for people doing the KBOMG programs and the complexes programs and all the other stuff that I'm putting out there to help you get stronger with kettlebells. All right, so thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. You are why we are here. I am here doing the stuff that I love and taking care of my family and community. So thank you.